Hey guys, welcome to Gamers Depot. It's been a long time since I did a video, sorry for that. And also from a long while, you people have wanted a complete PC build. You wanted my build to include a monitor, keyboard and mouse. Some of you also indicated that you have a budget of around 40,000 rupees for the complete PC. I already did a 40,000 rupees PC build without the monitor and the keyboard. Check that out from the link that just emerged. You guys intended this to be a gaming PC. You also said I could spike up the budget a bit, as 40,000 rupees was quite a restricted of a budget, which I found difficult to get a good gaming PC alongside a 1080p monitor and keyboard and mouse, as you guys insisted. That 40,000 rupees PC build that I did earlier was not that difficult, because by including the peripherals it was a 50,000 rupees PC. This one is strictly 40,000 rupees. So here we go. For the processor, I picked the AMD FX 4300. This is a quad-core processor by AMD. For this restricted budget, couldn't include a hexa or octa-core AMD processor and certainly not an i5. So had to pick the 4300. This processor will game fine at 1080p and medium to high settings at a stable 30 frames per second for most games, if combined with a good enough graphics card. This processor is clocked at 3.8 GHz. Its speed is just as fine, and at a measly price of Rs 6,500 or so, it is the best gaming processor you can pick in this kind of a build. So, moving on to the RAM. I picked the Kingston HyperX Fury 8GB stick for this build. Couldn't go less than 8GB for a gaming PC nowadays, when all games recommend 8GB and some games like Star Wars Battlefront require 8GB minimum RAM. Also couldn't afford 16GB in such a restricted budget. The HyperX RAM are always good and reliable. You can pick these RAM for 3,000 rupees. On Amazon it is on 2,500. You can check them out. I've mentioned links to all the parts in the description. To be specific, these are DDR3 RAM working at 1866 MHz. This RAM stick has one last feature of looking plainly fabulous. Next, moving on to the motherboard. I picked the ASUS M5A78L MLX3 motherboard, working on the AM3 Plus socket, just as we need with the 4300. This motherboard is quite cheap, comes at just above 4K. It's a decent motherboard with 2 RAM slots supporting up to 16GB and 1866 MHz memory. Also comes with a USB 3.0 and PCI Express 3.0 slots, also with a SATA 6GB per second port. So all in all, for this amount of money, this is the best motherboard you can get. Next, moving on to the graphics card. I picked the most popular NVIDIA graphic card after the GTX 970. Yes, I'm talking about the GTX 750 Ti. Yes, it's a bit cheap and last generation, but for around 10K, it's the best you can get. And please don't believe the myth that NVIDIA graphic card don't work well with AMD CPUs. They actually do. This graphic card at 10,000 rupees has 2GB of VRAM that is fairly good, is compatible with the PCI Express 3.0 slot, and is a decent graphic card for this budget. For 10,000, this is enough money you should spend for the GPU in a gaming PC of 40,000 rupees. Next, onto the hard drive. I picked the Western Digital Caviar Blue 1TB SATA 6GB per second hard drive. For games these days, going for anything less than a terabyte is risky. These days, the game comes at 50GB and stuff. To accommodate your Steam library, this is the ideal hard drive available for 3,000 to 4,000 rupees. Next, for the cabinet, I went with the Antec VSK 4000 U3. This case at just under 3,000 rupees is a steal deal. It has one 120mm fan, USB 3.0 slots, and it is of the ATX form factor. With features comparable to the Spec 03, this cabinet at a couple thousand rupees cheaper than it should be the best choice for this build. Next, to the power supply. To go along with this build, we can easily go with a less wattage power supply, as we included a less power-hungry NVIDIA graphics card, and this build mostly uses less power-hungry parts. So I picked the Corsair VS450 power supply. It's an 80 plus bronze certified power supply with a maximum load of 450 watt. I calculated what you will need for such a build. The result was anything above 319 watt. So this power supply is quite accurate. Now moving on to the monitor, you people requested for a 1080p monitor. So I picked the BenQ GW2255 21.5 inch HD LED monitor. 21.5 inches is good enough for gaming. It's, as I said, 1920 by 1080p monitor with a response time of 5 milliseconds, which is fairly good. For this PC, you won't notice a difference between 5 millisecond and 1 millisecond, so there's that. While this monitor also has the BenQ eye-care technology with it. Let me assure you, BenQ is one of the most trustworthy brand for monitors. I've had 2 BenQ monitors, both worked fine with no problems at all. To finish this build up, I would bring the keyboard mouse set by Logitech named Logitech MK200. It's a wired set and for 800 rupees you can't go wrong with it. With 3-year hardware warranty, this is quite trustworthy. I would suggest sticking to wired keyboard mouse as with wireless ones which are cheap, latency issues are common. And while gaming, latency issues are the things that suck the most. So to conclude, this build will come out to be just so slightly under the budget. Go and buy a headphone with the leftover budget. Thanks for sticking around with us till the end. For links to any parts mentioned in this video, check out the description. Do subscribe to the channel for more awesome videos. Check out the Assassin's Creed Syndicate and Witcher 3 gameplay I did with my GTX 970. Also do tell me in the comments what would you like for the next video. I would love to hear your views. Also, there's a poll that just emerged. Do answer that so that I can bring up better videos next. If you like the video, don't forget to press the thumbs up and share it among friends. Bye until the next video.